Hey, welcome to Gun Stuff. Today we have SDS Imports 1911 SS Duty. So this is all stainless steel, hammer forged, receiver, slide, barrel, real tank of a 1911. But we're going to take it out, we're going to shoot a couple rounds through it, we're going to give you a little bit of opinion on it, and a lot of great features on this gun right out of the box. But big thing I like about this is the fact that it comes in at a decent price point. So we're going to go ahead and load up and start shooting. All right, so we're here at 7-yard line. We got a target down range. We're gonna do like we always do. We're gonna do a little bit of accuracy testing. We're gonna shoot the whole, we got a magazine full here. We're gonna shoot a whole magazine at it, give you a little assessment on the accuracy of the gun, and then we'll just go from there. So what we got here is a stainless steel 1911 from SDS Imports. Everything on this is hammer forged, so this is gonna be a really solid workhorse. Comes with a steel magazine. This is based off the 70 series, and it's also going to take 8 rounds. So you'll have 8 in the mag, 1 in the pipe. So let's go ahead and go through a little bit of this here, get this thing loaded up. All right, so one of the big differences that always takes me by surprise is when I pick up a 1911, you got a much better trigger. Even in just about all of them across the board are much better than your striker fired triggers, unless of course you've spent a lot of money to upgrade your striker fired. So these guns come with a chamfered and a beveled magwell on here for your reloads. Has a nice big grip safety on here, big beaver tail. So as you look at my hand, yesterday we spent some day on the range shooting some of the smaller guns. My hand got tore up a little bit. When I shoot, I like to get a really nice high tight purchase on there, and it's just a good marksmanship fundamental of getting a nice big high grip on the gun. But when you do that and you get used to it, then you grab a hold of a micro or a subcompact, you know, it tends to chew your hands up a little bit. So that's what these big giant beaver tails are meant for. One of the things I like about this style of beaver tail is it has the bump out on the end, so no matter where you grab this, it's going to depress that. So once it depresses that safety, then it's going to be allowed to fire the gun. It'll unlock it so that it can fire the gun. Of course, you turn the safety off as well, so it has the beaver tail safety, the grip safety, and the ambidextrous safety. So it has nice big ambidextrous safety as well on both sides here. Whether you're right-handed or left-handed, makes it real easy to hit that, or if you have to go to some type of transitions, weekend only or something, you're still going to be able to hit that. The hammer on this is a really nice big hammer for you to get your thumb on, so for cocking and everything, which if you're carrying these 1911s locked and loaded, it makes it a lot easier to thumb cock and do different things with this. But the way they keep the weight down is they machine out this hole in here, so this still isn't much heavier than much heavier than a standard size hammer, but it has much more surface area for you to get your finger on. One of the other really good things I like about this is it has the Novak sight, 3-dot sights on there. You can loosen this Allen wrench up here, and it's driftable for left and right, and of course you can drift a little bit on the front as well if needed, but there is no elevation adjustment on this, so you just have windage only on this model here. So let me shoot a couple more rounds. All right, so this thing's shooting really good. It feels really good. Of course, I'm used to shooting 9mm, so 45, as soon as it goes off, has a little bit more recoil. You know you're shooting a big boy gun here. All right, so some of the features I really like about this is the trigger feels really good. It's a little bit heavier than, like, say, a custom 1911, but at the same time, it's still, everything is there that you need to really tune this thing up. Has a nice full trigger in here with all the lightning holes and everything to make this a little bit lighter package, because you're shooting an all stainless frame. One of the things I also like is this recessed takedown pin here. This is recessed in there, so you can just feel a little bit of bump on there, but you're not going to accidentally push that out at any time. So one of the other things that they have on here too that I like is on this gun they have a chamfered takedown pin. So this so when you take these down, you pull this over, pull this out. Well, this hole that this goes into, they've chamfered around this, and I don't know how well it'll show up on the camera, but when you go to put these things back together, sometimes trying to fiddle that thing and get it around there. So since this is chamfered, this is going to slide back in really easy, and you're going to be able to snap it back in fairly simply. Just like that, goes right back in, so it's a nice, convenient package. So we have been testing a lot of guns here coming out of Turkey over the last couple months, because over in this region where these guns are being made, we've tested a lot of different brands. They've been making guns over there, and that's been the cradle of firearms over in that part of the world for a long time. So these things are coming out very polished, very comparable to their American counterparts. So with these things being in the mid-6 range, as far as an MSRP, these are a solid choice for a defensive gun or home defense. Another thing I really like about this also is that it has the front serrations. I say it all the time, but we get repetitive in a lot of the things we say on the video. But this is, I like to do my press checks from the front just because that's the way I was trained. That's the way I cut my teeth when I went through my academies and different schools in the military and law enforcement. It also has a lowered ejection port, and it has this bevel on the back here, so that's going to help you aid with ejection, and it's going to prevent a lot of other ejection issues that could cause you to have a double feed or some other type of ejection issue when the round doesn't clear the ejection port. So we're going to go ahead and keep loading this thing up. We're going to step back, we're going to put up some more targets, and then we're going to get on it. But first we're going to go down and take a look at this one. So all right, so we're out at our friend George's house. He has a really nice piece of property out here in northern Kentucky, and you see this beautiful wall back here. We're shooting over the top of it. We'll make sure we don't damage this piece of history here, but this is a thing that's common for us in this area, being able to go out to the woods and find things like this. So we got a beautiful place to come out here and shoot. So looking at this target, as you can see, is just tore to pieces. So one of the tricks I always do, and a lot of other people do, when you really want to get a look at the group, like right now you can't really judge it because the paper's just completely tore up. So just pull this thing off, and we flatten all these down, all these little tears here and stuff like that. Just take these, flatten them down. You can dab a little water on them or something if you wanted to, but then what that does is that brings all these back into now where you can see how many shots you have on target. So you can take these, you know, if you get into a dispute with someone over whether or not that's a keyhole or whether or not there's 2 or 3 rounds in there, a lot of times you flip these things back over and that helps settle those disputes. But what we're looking at here is we're looking at about, I'd say from center bullet hole to center bullet hole, we're looking about 3/4 of an inch to an inch at 7 yards. And this is straight out of the box, first time shooting the gun, so I'm more than happy with that accuracy. Where we're at today, we won't be able to do any 100-yard shooting or anything like that with this pistol, but we're going to put up a couple of different targets, and we're going to do a little bit of speed shooting with it. So we're very happy with the accuracy so far. All right, so one of the things we like to do is when we get out here and we're doing our reps and we're testing these guns and we're doing all our shooting and stuff like that, is I like to print off different targets. I do a lot of this when we're doing my own shooting and things like that, but right now all I did is I just printed off a free IPSC target up there, or IDPA target, and so just putting that out at 7 yards, and with the size of that target being much smaller, that simulates this target being at say 30 yards or something like that. So it's one of those deals where you get a chance to do a little bit of both here. So keeping in mind every time you go out, you're not just, a lot of times if you don't want to just go out and just squeeze the trigger just to squeeze the trigger. You want to go out and you be methodical in your reps. So we're going to go ahead and run this a couple times. Of course, this only comes with 1 magazine, so I'm not going to be able to work on any kind of reload drills or anything right now with this because I don't have an extra 1911 mag on me. But just going from here, just going to work on some reps. Just gonna keep on going. All right, so here we are. We put a target up at 50. We're gonna go ahead and take a couple 50-yard shots just to see where the accuracy is on this. All right, let's go down and take a look. So here we are out of checking the 50-yard target. So here's my 3 shots, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so this, of course, string up and down is indicative of me not having proper breath control during shots. So if I exhale all of my air and I take a shot with when I've exhaled, my sights are going to drop, and this was most likely when I had exhaled most of the air out of my lungs, and then this is when I had had more air in my lungs. So as you take a breath, your arms come up. When you exhale, your arms come down. So this is improper breathing control. So I can't blame this on the gun because this is purely me. But even with me and my improper breath control during this, we're still looking at a fist size group at 50 yards. So even though this is complete, you know, you look at this, and then you see one way up here, a complete miss, but keeping that in perspective, you know, that still puts that group, if I actually was hitting this exactly where I was aiming and I was using proper breath control, that would still put all 3 impacts in this and over heart shot. So this is an excellent pistol as far as just out of the box accuracy. It's a great in between your bottom dollar 1911s out there and your high-end 1911s. So if you're in that middle of the road where you're wanting to pick one, this is probably going to be a good pick for you. Let's go ahead and take a step back. Oh, this thing has performed great for us today. We like it here, and we hope you do too. We'll see you next time on Gun Stuff.